What up, drone freaks? Welcome back to Quad Vision. Alright, so apologies on the long delay to get the follow-up video on this Micro Hulk, Micro Beast quadcopter. I had so many problems trying to figure out what was wrong with the flight controller. Basically, the way this frame is and the flight controller, I wanted to rotate it 90 degrees, and when I first plugged it in and tried to power it up and arm it, it was creating violent, very violent gyrations, oscillations. Obviously something was wrong. I tried so many different things. It took me literally like 3 weeks. Every like 4 or 5 days I would try something different or think of something different to change. Eventually I had to just put the board in with straight orientation. I had different quads before where I could rotate the orientation on Betaflight and it would fly great, no problem. But with this particular board, it's an F4 HGLRC 25 amp all-in-one. I think it's called XJB F425. In any case, for some reason, realigning or orientating, rotating the orientation in Betaflight does not seem to work for this particular microboard, and I couldn't get it through my thick skull, and I was literally crying in my props trying to get this thing to fly right for weeks. But it's flying well now. It's not flying great. I'm very happy with it. Well, let me say I'm generally happy with it. It is quite powerful. We've got the RCX 1407 motors, 4100 kV, 25 amp HGLRC all-in-one with OSD. Obviously we have the Runcam Micro. I guess it's the Micro Swift. On top here, unfortunately, very exposed as you see, not optimal. I have to do something about it. I'm flying it careful so I don't smash it, splatter that wonderful little micro camera. It's awesome. In any case, initially I had a micro all-in-one VTX camera, but it was a piece of crap. And I plugged, I don't know if you guys had experienced this with those all-in-one micro camera VTX setups, but if on some of my micros, if I leave it plugged in for like, I don't know, 45 seconds, it overheats and the video goes out. In any case, this particular one that I tried in here initially overheated, and the glue holding the camera lens onto the sensor basically melted, and it was a piece of crap. So I eventually got this awesome Runcam Micro, put it in there. It's a great camera. I'm very happy with that camera, but it's not optimal. It's terrible for this setup. It's not optimal. It's exposed here to damage and impact. But in the meanwhile, until I find some kind of protective mount or cage to put over it, I don't know what to do. I'll just fly it carefully. So this camera's working great. The quad is flying well, as I said. I'm flying it on 3S and 4S, and there's things to be said about both. For what it's worth, Albert Kim is completely spot on with the PID issue with a lot of these micros. In order to get this flying okay, I had to take Betaflight PIDs and cut them all in half. I have my rates bumped up, but the PIDs have to be, basically had to be toned down. I'm still in the process of tuning this bad boy, but it's flying a little bit better since I initially just started off by cutting all the PIDs in half from the Betaflight stock PIDs. As far as that micro VTX camera all-in-one that I had, I salvaged the VTX off it. I just snipped off the camera and I stuck the VTX board here in the back underneath some wires. There's not a lot of real estate to work with here. I got my micro receiver, FlySky micro receiver here, and it's just everything's kind of tucked in real, you know, not optimally, but stuck on there with double-sided industrial tape, foam tape, and this is kind of the way I have it set up now. It's not terribly durable, but I wanted to get this. I was desperate to get this thing up in the air. And after all the frustration I experienced crying in my props and ready to pull my hair out, I was so happy to just get it flying, get it flying decently, frankly. So I'm probably going to change some of this around. I obviously need more protection for the camera. I'm going to get a better, better VTX, and maybe I could tuck it in underneath here between the board and this top plate. These motors are pretty awesome, but I'm flying this on 3S and 4S. 3S is working well, but it's not having the punch and the power that I was kind of anticipating, given these giant motors. 4S, it's flying and it has super power, but I haven't been able to really test it out because I'm continue to have some flight issues on 4S. When I full throttle gets stuck or jammed for like a second or two after I bring it back down, and I'm not sure. I don't understand why that's occurring. Maybe somebody can help me out and tell me what's going on. I'm running these Zop Power. This is a 3S 90 or 80C battery, 550 milliamp. I got 550 4S 80C Zop battery here. These are kind of like, I guess they're so-so batteries, but I got them on a really good price. The 3S was literally like $7 because I bought 3 of them. The price comes down a little bit on Banggood. The 4S was like I want to say $8.50, $9. Because I bought a couple of them there was a little coupon. They've been running 10% off on these batteries, and I also had some old 3S batteries for my other micros. This is a 600 milliamp 30C, and it's actually flying fine. And even with these very small wire leads, sheesh, this is like, I think it says 22 gauge, but it's flying okay. Flight times are not great. Flight times are like 2 minutes, maybe. I think I've had a 4-minute flight, not pushing it. But I'm starting to think that maybe these motors are oversized for this setup because they're adding extra weight. Given the flight time I'm getting with these batteries, I'm not thinking I want to go more milliamps or higher capacity batteries because the flight time is literally 2 to 4 minutes. What I'm thinking is the best course of action is to lighten up the motors, maybe get smaller motors. These motors are maybe just not efficient with this setup or with these props. These are, I think they're Gemfan 3035 props. They're okay. I bought 2 other style props. I'm going to try them out. I haven't had a chance to fly it yet. But it is a powerful little 3-inch quad. Does it handle like a 5-inch? Kind of. Is it as powerful and precise as a 5-inch? No. I'm also recently very spoiled with my 5-inch builds. I have this is one of my newer builds here. It's less than 300 grams, like this, with everything except the battery. It's got Brother Hobby R5s, 2450 kV motors. So these are super duper powerful, and after flying this, it's like almost nothing compares with the power and the punch and the grunt. So it's really I'm a little spoiled with my 5-inch quads, and I assume, and my dream is to have a 3-inch quad that I can fly in my backyard with the real power to weight and punch that a 5-inch has. That's kind of a real challenge that I'd like to get to one day. I'm sure the technology will come along one day, and the motors and the materials maybe, I don't know. But that's what I really would love to have. And I'm hoping I can get better performance out of this little micro Hulk. I want to try different props. I want to tune it better, and I'm going to get it flying well for us. And when I do get it